It's great to see all of you. It actually took me by complete surprise, actually. The end of April just kind of showed up. It was, there was a time where it was hard to even know which actual day of the week it was, let alone what date of the month it was. And I remember mentioning to someone that I'm like, oh yeah, it's April 27th. And in that moment, the both of us had a moment of just really coming to terms with all that had come by in just the past few weeks. And it's interesting. We're at an interesting time where it feels like, wow, I can't believe it's already the end of April. And at the same time, there's also this feeling of so much is going on, so much is taking place. Like it's only April. It's only April. We've only been doing like in this space for a few weeks. So what has been evolving from that has been just an element to just put like a timestamp on this moment. It felt important to be able to take this and kind of just give ourselves a chance to say, here goes an opportunity that no matter how things have been for us, we can calibrate and decide how we want to be going forward. And today we are really going to do a retrospective on the past few weeks for ourselves. And the intent here is to give ourselves a chance to slow down, to see what has been, and use this time to intentionally look forward to what is coming next. By the time we leave here, you'll have a sense of direction as to where you want to go and what your next step will look like or could look like for you. And the idea here, more than anything else, is just to make sure that you get a chance to orient. You might find at the end of this conversation that you're headed in exactly the right direction and there's nothing that needs to change, but you're in a place where internally you're like, I got it, I know it, let's keep the path going. Or you might find that you at the end of this conversation and you're 90% there, and with the smallest tweak, you can bring yourself one step closer to what it is that really aligns for you. So we're going to take that time to to really honor that in this space. I ended up going through this retrospective myself. I had found myself at the end of April. There were some commitments that I had that were basically coming to a conclusion. Some of them being the way that we were meeting in community, and I was looking at it and saying to myself, "What's coming next?" And I realized that as much as I wanted to answer what's coming next, I couldn't. I had a first answer: what's already happened? What's already happened? So these questions are directly coming from that experience. And then honestly, I started working on my retrospective about 5 days ago. And since that experience here, I have reconnected with so many different parts of myself that have allowed that are going to make the next month and the upcoming weeks that much more rich. But on top of that, there's an alignment in terms of how I'm showing up for myself that is going to continue to play itself out in the upcoming months and such to go. Are a series of questions that I'm going to invite each of us to just take some time on our own to go through and answer. And then what we'll do is after we finish those questions, we'll come and we'll debrief and explore as we need to from there. Also, at the end of this year, coaching is one of the biggest gifts that I can bring to the table during this time. It's the path. It's what helps us discover new paths. So we'll leave some space for that, as that might be appropriate as well. Okay. For now, let's get settled in here. I have the first of 5 questions for you. The first question is, what would you love to celebrate? What was awesome for you as to in the month of April? And you can use the time frame as whatever is important to you. It could be 2020, whatever it is. I would suggest using a consistent time frame. But what would you love to celebrate? What do you need to simply stop doing for tomorrow to be better than yesterday? I invite you to answer that question in the short in the short span is literally for the day you just had and for tomorrow, and then also taking a look over the longer period of time. So even in the midst of the retrospective, we're going to also make sure that we're aligning that which we want with that which we've had. So the next question here, it seems like a future question, but it's actually an alignment question. What is the new normal or the new possibility that you stand for? What is your new normal? What is the new normal? And there's different answers to that question potentially. Or the new possibility. What do you stand for? Another way of looking at this question, if it's helpful, is to imagine yourself 3 months, 6 months, a year down the line from here. How do you see yourself being? That actually represents a new normal that is in alignment with you. This is the answer to this question is something you can keep coming back to when things get even more turbulent, or and even if the turbulence is a return back to normal, quote unquote. So take this North Star, take this new normal, the possibility that you stand for. And given that, what do you want to remain consistent for you? What is happening right now in your life? What's happening either in your life in particular or that you're seeing in your world that you would want to be consistent, that aligns with that new possibility and normal that you stand for? And in this exercise here, in this question here, we get the opportunity to actually see how much of our new normal already exists. And all we need to do is just maintain. And then this will be our last question here. What would you love to create more of? What would you love to create more of? It might be something that you already previously had, or something that you're making for the first time. But what would you love to create more of? So something came to me right now in this moment that I just thought might also be a little bit fun for us to look at this and give us a different way to look at all this. So we've done the retrospective in terms of these 5 questions here, right? We've taken time to see what's gone well, what we would like to stop. We've oriented ourselves with where we'd like to be, and then we've now gone back to our world and said, okay, looking at that, how like what will we need to remain consistent? What do we just need to continue? And then also giving ourselves the opportunity to say, what do we want to create more of? So I'm gonna just the thing that came to mind is this idea of if you were writing a book right now, right, and the book represented this entire experience for you, right? There's four. I would love to give you a chance just to come up with um, just a short title, a short phrase, a short subtitle, like just a few quick words here that would capture that. Now I'm going to invite you to answer this in 4 different ways. One, what is the name of the book? Two, what's the subtitle? So the name of the book might be something that's catchy here, and the subtitle might be like, well, let me just make it real for me. Um, right now, the book that comes up is Trailblazers Unite! Exclamation point. Leading change by leveraging what makes you different to create new paths. Subtitle, right? So what's the name of the book? What's the subtitle of that book? What would the previous chapter, the chapter that just got done, what would that chapter title be called? And then on the other side of it, for this next chapter, what will that be called?